Hey, in this video we'll be continuing our farm game project, and I'm going to be putting together the structure of how the game actually runs. So I left off creating derived classes for these specific animals, and now I want to get back to my main function. In my main function, I could structure this and have all of my code just right out here. But I'm going to sort of encapsulate the functionality of my game into one class. I'm going to call that the game class. So let me add this game.h. There we go. Class game. And then the game class will know everything that's going on. It'll have access to the objects in my game and give me the functionality that I need to interact with the other objects. So what I'd like in my main function is to kind of make this dead simple. I want a game object. So let me include game.h. So I'll make a game object, and then I'll do game.run, and then when it's done running, return 0. And that can be my entire program. But the guts of it is going to be in this run function that I need to make. So let me go back to game.h and tell it what run is going to do. So run is going to start a loop. This loop could run forever, and we can choose when to break out of it whenever we're done with the game. So let me make at least a variable where I can say, yeah, I'll do it here for now. Whether we're done or not, we'll set it to false to begin with. We're not done, and then we'll do a loop while not done. As long as we're not done, we'll keep playing. And in here is where I will interact with all of the objects, starting with the farm. So my game needs to know about the farm, include farm.h. And so my game should store a farm object. There's my farm. And as long as we're running here, I want to first clear the screen. I want to draw the farm and then ask the player to do something. So I'll have to give them a prompt. Alright, clearing the screen. So for clearing the screen, it would be nice to have just one function, clear. That would be great. So let's write it that way and make it come true later. Drawing the farm, oh, I would love to have a function farm.draw. That'd be pretty cool. So let's pretend that exists. And then ask the player to do something. This is a little more complicated because I need to do something with the information that they give me. But I could do that in a separate function, or I could do it right here. I'm going to say, let's do like string. Let's at least make a prompt function that will get information from the user, and then we can use that in the rest of this function. So if we're going to prompt them, we should say something like, what would you like to do? And I might also give them some options. So let's say what are they gonna do? Maybe they'll feed an animal. Maybe they can visit an animal. And then maybe they can quit the game. All right, very exciting game right now, I'm sure. Okay, so once we get their input from that prompt, then we can check to see if it matches any of these things. Let's say if input equals 1, so they're going to be giving me a string, so I can just check to see if it's 1. Then we can make another function that sends us off to the feeding. Alright, otherwise, if input is 2, then let's send you off to do a visit. Otherwise, if it's 3, we can quit out of here. We're done. And if we don't do any of those things, well, I don't care. I could give some feedback and say that's not a valid option. Wait a moment, and then we're good. Let me put that at the end. Alright, so no matter what you do, it'll wait for you to press enter. That might be fine. Okay, so now we've got a bunch of functions that we wish existed already, but we can kind of drill down into these functions and make them happen. So first is clear. Clear is going to clear the screen. In the console window, there is a special character code that you can print out that certain consoles will understand and react to. Unfortunately, there's one in class that I said, I don't remember off the top of my head which code it is, but I said that was a good one, and it works well in Visual Studio, but then once you run it outside of Visual Studio, it uses a different console interpreter for some reason. I don't know why, and it does not understand it. So I also said back then that there's a bad way to do it, and we're going to do it the bad way today because at least it works. This will only work on Windows because CLS is a Windows command that's a console command. So system is a system call to the operating system, and generally is a bad idea because someone could just replace your CLS function or CLS program with whatever program they want, and this will call it. So anyway, we'll just pretend that that's safe. And then, so we'll clear the screen. We want the farm to be able to draw. So in our farm class, we're going to need a draw function. And this one, we'll have to get creative on how to draw each of these elements. For now, I'm just going to draw an empty grid. So let's do rows and columns. Row less than 4. And I'm hard coding the 4, but you could use something else there. I would tend to use the preprocessor to specify the dimensions of this thing, but I'm just hard coding it. Okay, column less than 4. And then we can print something out. So let me think about how this will be structured. I would like it if every row had a separation and every column had a separation, so it ended up looking like a box grid. So if I print out a bunch of hyphens, that'll look like something. That'll look like a row separator. So at the beginning of every row is going to be a line, and then on every row, each column is going to start off with a vertical pipe. All right. And then something. So for now, I'm just going to fill it up with let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do 5 spaces. And that should be all right. Once we're done a row, we've gone through all the columns, we'll just print out the ending vertical pipe and end that line. Okay, that should be okay. And then once we're done all of the rows, let's print out a bottom line. All right, so here we're going to replace this with the contents. Cow, chicken, etc. Which is pig. Okay, that's fine. And then let's see how this works, and we'll maybe adjust some of the number of hyphens or whatever just until it works. Okay, let's see what I got wrong here. Oh, I'm not done. Prompt, do feed, do visit, those things need to exist. So prompt needs to return a string. Okay. And do we have we included string? I'll do all that stuff here. I want IOStream. I want string, and I want what else is useful here? I would do just the using statement. Okay. So now, if I want to prompt, I can say, all right, here is some indicator for your prompt, and then let's do a get line into some sort of string, the result string, from cin into result. And then we'll return that result. That seems decent. Okay. Now do feed and do visit. These are going to be bigger, so I'm just going to leave them as stubs for now. I'm not going to do a complete implementation. Do visit. Okay, now let's see it run. Undeclared ENDL. So farm needs to know about that. Okay. Cool. All right. So here we go so far. What would you like to do? And my grid stuff is looking all right. I have to scroll up to see all of it, which is kind of a bother. I'm just gonna have to make the window bigger each time I play it. So let's see, how many characters is that? 4 more characters and then the end. So let's do 5 more hyphens. Okay, that looks better. All right, so there's our grid visualized with empty spaces in it. And once we have animals, we can start filling it in with something to represent the animal. I'm going to go easy. I think I'm just going to use the first few letters of their name. That'll be fine. Okay, so next time we will go further with this and make some animals. See ya.